Last year, more homes canceled cable TV than ever before. Why? It's just too expensive. For half the price of cable, you can get Fubo TV and watch the live sports and TV you love. Try free at FuboTV.com.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
In-game voice of the Niagara IceDogs, and you're listening to the Dog Pound Podcast on the Armchair GM Sports Network, your podcast source for all game analysis, team interviews, and up-to-date news regarding the Niagara IceDogs.
Perlini! Overtime! IceDogs win! Hosang! Score! To Akil Thomas. Thomas has the angle coming in. He scores!
52.1 seconds to go. Do you love it, Niagara?
Welcome into another Niagara IceDogs game recap right here on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs. Proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family. Visit any four of their great Niagara Region locations. Brandon Caputo and Cam Halbert are with you to break down the Niagara IceDogs 4-1 victory on home ice against Central Division rival Barrie Colts in front of 3,387 on this Thursday night here in Niagara. Guys, make sure you're following the podcast on X at Dog Pound Podcast. And if you're listening to us today in on-demand audio, give us some love, whatever audio platform that is. As well, all of our podcasts are posted on our YouTube channel in full by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. So with that said, Cam, just the IceDogs have picked up 7 out of a possible 8 points. I know we didn't have you on the trade deadline recap last night. IceDogs made 6 trades, and they brought in some younger players and some assets to the organization. Some of these players had to step up. Gavin Bryant got named the C today, so got a lot to talk about. So I'll just kind of let you react to whatever you want here.
I mean, yeah, it was a great effort from start to finish from the IceDogs against Barrie, and we talked about this last week, that this homestand kind of makes or breaks if they are going to kind of make a push for that final playoff spot, and so far so good, collecting 7 out of 8 points in the last 4 games here. So great job from start to finish. We got to see our first look at Mason Ray, as well as seeing our first look as Gavin Bryant as the captain. And the lines were rather interesting for sure. Gavin Bryant still staying to the wing, and it looks like head coach Ben Boudreau is committing to the 3 16-year-old centers, as Zada was the first line center, followed by Rubric on line 2, and then we had Galianov on line 3. So, again, kind of interesting to see one of the better faceoff guys on the team, Gavin Bryant, move over to the wing. But so far, so good, because they took care of business tonight.
They definitely did, and like you mentioned, the 3 16-year-olds at center, and they were actually down a forward and a D tonight. Alex Asadorian, they're still waiting for him to come back, and as well, Chanowski, their newest acquisition, he was out of the lineup tonight. Coach Ben Boudreau said it should be a minor thing, and if he's not in tomorrow, hopefully that he's in to start next week. So despite an undermanned lineup, the IceDogs did well against this Barrie Colts team, and it's a team that they're trying to catch right now for that 8th playoff spot. Them and Peterborough are the 2 teams they have to pass. So if you're the IceDogs, and we talked about this at the end of our game recap last week, this is a big homestand for the team, but also as far as teams they're trying to make up ground to really get to that 8th spot.
Absolutely. Like they're not going to – they're have to pass Barrie as well as essentially Peterborough as well. So anytime that they play them, they have to win. Like if it's going to be if they're going to have any sort of run here. So they do play Barrie again in 2 games. They'll play Flint tomorrow, then Mississauga next week, and then in Barrie on the 20th. And again, if they can handle their business over the next few games and get back to Barrie and get a dub there, then things get really interesting as they are trying to move up the standings. And again, I think as we talked about at the beginning of the season, that just being around in the playoff race a little bit longer as last year it was pretty much over by the middle of November, and it was trending that way this year. And with the head coaching switch, as well as I think keeping most of the lineup together. I mean, the trade deadline obviously saw some of the bigger pieces of the lineup go, but those moves had to be done because we had way too many overagers going into next season. So better to trade them away for future assets and lose them for nothing.
And we talked to GM Wes Consorti and head coach Ben Boudreau about the trade deadline. So that episode is up on our channel right now on demand if you want to go and listen to the trade deadline reaction from the head coach and the general manager. We'll get Ben Boudreau, head coach, post-game later tonight about this game, and also newly named captain Gavin Bryant on being given the C later on tonight. So with that said, Cam, let's just get into our game stats brought to you by J&O Flooring. If you think you get a better deal anywhere else, you don't know Jack. Contact our Niagara Falls location, be your quality flooring project today. The IceDogs were outshot by the Barrie Colts 35-29, but it didn't really feel like the IceDogs were that heavily outshot to me. Like it was a 6-point swing in Barrie's favor, but I think Niagara controlled a good amount of this game, and maybe the shots were a little bit deceiving there.
I think that the reason why the shot clock ended up looking the way it did was because I agree that for the majority of the game, Niagara handled the forecheck and was able to get into the offensive zone. But the few shifts where they were really hemmed in, they really did give up a lot of shots, but it was mostly from the perimeter, and Owen Flores had an extremely strong game. There wasn't very many high-danger chances. I know there was a 2-on-1 that later in the game when it was still 3-1 that Flores handled beautifully. But for the most part, I think they kept the shots to the perimeter, and he did what he needed to do, but I think they did come in bunches, especially to start the game. The first few minutes, it did look like the IceDogs were a little flat, but they were able to weather the storm and then hold out to a 0-0 game in the first period. And
Owen Flores made his 11th straight start tonight, and he doesn't look like he's slowing down. Got a big win there for his team. Special teams tonight was a big one, Cam, because the Barrie Colts were 0 for 4 with the man advantage, including a 5-on-3 in the middle period that really could have changed the game. The IceDogs were up 1-0 at that point, and Barrie had almost a full 2-minute 5-on-3, and the IceDogs penalty killers did just a flawless job.
No, absolutely. There was a moment in the 5-on-3 as well that we thought that we'd seen interference called because I believe it was Wysick actually was able to get a partial break that was legitimately only broken up because of interference that wasn't called, and then later on a tripping call that wasn't called on the IceDogs, so it kind of looked like they canceled each other out. But yeah, the 5-on-3 was fantastic, and Flores was definitely the best penalty killer there. But I thought they did a great job, and yeah, we talk a lot about the power play because it's been really rough throughout the season so far. There's been a lot of changes. They haven't really been able to keep a unit together or found one that's really worked. But Mike Levin was able to get on the board on the power play later on in the game, and that was a big one because that gave him that insurance marker. Yeah, the IceDogs are 1 for 2 on the power play, and they have been struggling in that department, so it was good to see them get on the board. Lastly, faceoffs, 42-19 in favor of the Barrie Colts. So again, you mentioned the 3 16-year-old centers. That's just the growing pains that they're going to go through. Gavin Bryant, usually playing center, he took 11 draws, so actually only won 2 of them. But for the young guys to be taking that many draws, it's important. But this is a veteran Colts team, even though they traded away some guys at the deadline. Bo Jelsma was 17 for 22 in that regard, so one of their best face-off men, and he feasted on the IceDogs' young centers tonight. But you know what? This is what they're going to have to go through because it's the growing pains, and it's going to help them as they move forward here. It really hasn't come back to bite them yet. There was a couple shifts in this game, though, I noticed with Rubrick and he, especially their line, with Matthew Paris in the third period where Jelsma won the draw clean, and it was like a solid minute in their own zone. And the problem with that isn't that they lost the draw and were able to defend it. The problem is that you're spending your entire shift in the D zone. You need that line out in offense, and that's where you're going to see a pretty big impact. So again, I think that they're going to work with the coaching staff, and the faceoffs are definitely going to be worked on all throughout the rest of this year. And I got to appreciate the fact that he is committing to the future as well as still trying to win in terms of head coach Ben Boudreau. But I think that this will just go a long way to have these 3 guys because they could potentially be the top 3 centers for the next 3 years. And shout out to Mason Ray, the newcomer from the Brantford Bulldogs. He was 3 for 6 tonight on the draws. He was playing on Ivan Galliano's left wing. Yeah, I think they started to throw him out at center near the end of the game because I noticed him after the third goal started taking big body, like he was a former second-round pick in the 2022 draft. So expect some big things out of him. I don't know if we're going to see a lot of offensive flair, but definitely someone that's extremely big and tough to handle. So I thought that he had a pretty solid first game for the IceDogs. Didn't look out of place at all, and we'll have to see how they maneuver the lineup going forward.
Definitely a guy that's hard to play against, Mason Ray, and brings another dynamic to that IceDogs lineup. So we'll move on to our scoring summary tonight, brought to you by the Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work in Niagara since 1983. Check out their up-to-date job board at ehc.on.ca to find your next work opportunity today. It was the IceDogs getting on the board first, no scoring in the first. Second period, a minute 55 in, Matthew Paris gets his 8th goal of the season from Connor Federico and Ryan Robrick.
And Kevin Ryan Van Etten sets it up. Robrick, quick release through the blue ice, out the other side. They score! It was deflected out front off the shot by Federico. And the IceDogs have opened the scoring. It looked like Paris got the last touch.
Yeah, again, we've talked about this all season long. We really haven't seen a lot of ugly goals, and this particular wasn't really, because it was one of the first clean tip shots that we've seen. We've seen some ugly tipped-in goals throughout the last little while. I believe Vermeulen had a pretty ugly one that was just fluttering over the goaltender in one of the prior games, but this was a clean, hard tip shot from the point by Paris that snapped right down and was able to beat Ben West to give us the lead. And again, it wasn't like they were surviving and they got a nice bounce. That they played them evenly up to that point and really earned that goal.
They definitely did. And then later in the second period, it was Weigel for the Barrie Colts getting on the board to even the game up there in the second period. But then great response by the IceDogs on the very next shift, and it's a big one for him. William Stewart gets his first career OHL goal from Andrew Vermeulen and Connor Federico.
Puck Gallianoff, drop pass Federico, knuckleball, stopped by West, rebound available. Stewart scores! And William Stewart's first OHL goal gives the IceDogs the lead back.
The fourth line for the IceDogs ships in with a goal.
And another ugly goal. They all three crashed the net, and Stewart was able to pick it up and throw it home. But again, those are the types of goals that we need to start seeing. We need to stop just looking for the snipes upstairs. We've talked about that for months now. And a great goal and a great moment for William Stewart. I don't know who was more happy, him or the bench, because the team definitely loves him and they reacted as such. So it was great to see him get his first.
And continuing on this trend of just crashing the net and being able to tip in pucks, Mike Levin tips in his 15th goal of the season right near the end of the second period. That was a big goal to make it 3-1 right before, going into the intermission, and it kind of broke Barrie there to really open it up.
Wysick gets it back to Kevin. He's got to settle a bouncing puck. Wysick gets a shot through. They score! A seeing eye shot from the point. Levin might have got the deflection on the power play.
Andrew Wysick took the initial shot. Kevin He gets the other assist on that goal, and it's a power play marker for the IceDogs. But Ben Boudreau has continued to hammer this away at practice of just getting the puck towards the net, guys with active sticks being able to tip those shots, and Mike Levin with a perfect example of what happens when you do that.
Absolutely, and he's been all over the place. He's really one of the more noticeable people or players on the team, and good to see him get. It's just great to see a power play goal. I think that's something they haven't been getting a lot of opportunities. So, when you go a couple games and you say you didn't get a power play goal, but you only get one or two chances on the man advantage, it's not exactly, it's a little misleading, but it was a great end of the period. How often is it the IceDogs are usually the team getting scored on in the final minute of a period? And it was finally the IceDogs able to kind of break the morale there of any sort of a comeback, especially with a goal late in the final minute of that second period.
And then the IceDogs are able to seal it there in the third. The Colts did have a power play. Marty Williamson, former IceDogs head coach, now with the Barrie Colts, obviously, called their timeout. They weren't able to generate anything there. And Gavin Bryant gets the cheeseburger goal for the IceDogs, and capping off a great night for him personally and professionally. His sister was at center ice for the Diabetes Canada puck drop tonight, so that was big for him. And then he caps it off, getting the captaincy and scoring the empty net goal, the cheeseburger goal.
Kind of perfect bow on this game. And, a great moment for Gavin Bryant, who is definitely going to be big for this team, not only the rest of this year, but next year as well in that locker room. He was brought in to help make sure that the locker room grew, in terms of chemistry and things like that, and he's been nothing short of great in that aspect throughout this whole year. So great to see him step up there. And another point for Ryan Robrick, who quietly collected a couple of assists. He's been kind of on a setup streak now for the last little while, and he's, as of this recording, now 4th in rookie scoring. Again, he just kind of chips away at the rest of the league here, and it's huge that he keeps doing that. And, again, I think that as the more and more games that he plays at center, he gets a little bit better on the draw, and we've got a heck of a centerman on our hands here for the next few years.
Especially for a 16-year-old, because a lot of the guys he's trying to catch are 17-year-olds. So.
Yes, like that's another great point. I believe everyone ahead of him is a 17-year-old rookie. So just a great job by him. And not only that, he missed 5 games from the under-17. So we'll see if he can keep it up for the rest of the year. He's going to get his opportunities for sure. But great season so far from him, and it's good. As like I said, he was kind of on a scoring only, which again you're not going to complain about. But good to see him get some assists now. Yeah, definitely looks like he's rounding out his all-around game, and they put him with Kevin He tonight again with Matthew Paris. Really like what I see from that line, and I think Kevin He's becoming more of a setup man lately, and even head coach Ben Boudreau said that he's starting to add that element to his game. We know he's got a great shot, but that playmaking ability, and when you put 11 and 25 out there, it's just exciting to see because that's really the future of this Ice Dogs team. No, I 100%, and I think that it's great that those are the moves and those are the types of moves that are being made by the coaching staff to, again, not forget about this season, but really work towards the future. And I think that's what we've been missing and what we've been chasing really the last 3 seasons. And it needed to happen, and things like tonight are going to be a result where you start to see, kind of that future take shape. And, just a great draft class, and I'm excited to see what happens with Kevin over the next month as well. Audio goal highlights are courtesy of our friends at YourTV Niagara. Catch the Ice Dogs at home and on the road on YourTV Niagara, exclusively on Cogeco. We're going to hit our first commercial break. We're going to come back with head coach Ben Boudreau and his post-game thoughts, as well as Gavin Bryant, the newly named captain of the Niagara IceDogs and Cam's player of the game as always. So stay here right back on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs. Proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family.
In the Niagara region, Global Pet Foods is your destination for premium pet nutrition and caring expertise. Whether you've welcomed a new furry family member or need advice on top quality nutrition, their dedicated staff is ready to help. Discover why Global Pet Foods' lesser-known premium brands outshine the big corporate names. Their team's passion ensures your pet's health and vitality. Check out one of their locations today, 3643 Portage Road in Niagara Falls, 160 Highway 20 in Font Hill, or 400 Scott Street and 344 Glendale Avenue in St. Catharines. Global Pet Foods, where premium brands and caring staff make the difference.
Wild Bill's Auto Repair is your local center for auto maintenance and repair in the Niagara region. Since 2012, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop has been helping customers stay safe and confident on the road, knowing their vehicles in top running condition through their services. Located at 7868 Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls, the garage started as a tribute to the owner's father, William Robert Hunter, who passed away, continuing the same community spirit and high level of service which customers came to expect from him back at Hunter's Auto Repair. Their multi-award-winning auto shop has earned the trust of the Niagara community with its fair treatment of all customers, who can feel confident they'll get the trustworthy advice and repairs during their visit. Their experienced crew loves meeting new people and looks forward to forming a lasting partnership for the care of your cars. To find out more or to book a service, contact them today, 905-358-7868 or wildbillsauto.ca. Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road since 2012.
Niagara Golf Lounge features 2 state-of-the-art indoor golf simulators, allowing you to play some of the world's best courses all year round. The perfect place to indulge all season long. Don't worry about getting thirsty while you play around with your friends. Their fully stocked bar offers a wide selection of drinks, appetizers, and a variety of meals are also available to enjoy before, during, or after you play. Grab a seat next to the fire in their comfortable sports lounge. Didn't bring your clubs? No problem. They have partnered with TaylorMade to offer you the best rental clubs. You won't want to miss their exclusive NFL and NHL giveaways for the Buffalo Sabres and Buffalo Bills. Located in the Best Western Plus Cairncroft Hotel, 6400 Lundy's Lane in Niagara Falls. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more and to reserve your golf bay today. The Niagara Golf Lounge, Niagara's home for golf and sport all year round.
Are you looking to hire? Let the Niagara Employment Help Center save you valuable time and money by making your hiring process easier. Their services include free job postings in-house and on their website, fill job vacancies quickly and efficiently, access to a bank of potential employees, reduce employment costs, and financial incentives may be available to offset the cost of new hire training. Check out the website at ehc.on.ca or call 905-358-0021 for more information. The Niagara Employment Help Center, helping people find work since 1983.
This is Alex Asadorian.
Hey, it's Ryan Roberg.
Bronson Ride.
This is Gavin Bryant.
And you're listening to the
Dog Pound Podcast,
The official podcast of the Niagara IceDogs.
Welcome back to part 2 of today's Niagara IceDogs game recap. Brandon Caputo and Cam Halbert are with you, breaking down the IceDogs' big 4-1 victory on home ice against the Central Division rival Barrie Colts. Thank you to those today listening in on-demand audio, and make sure you give us some love on whatever audio platform that is. You can give us a follow at Dog Pound Podcast for all of our IceDogs content, and we're posting a lot more video content on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, by searching the Armchair GM Sports Network. Cam, before we get to IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau, I just want to quickly give a thank you to the players that were moved out. Zach Lavoie, did a good job as the captain and always was generous with his time with us for anything that we asked for. Defenseman Bronson Ride as well, did some good segments with him. Daniil Sobolev didn't really get him on the show for a segment, but he was always nice to us down low. And Charlie Burns, unfortunately, got moved to the Erie Otters. So wishing all those guys the best in their next steps. But especially in junior hockey, you always try to stay with those guys and connect with them because they're the brothers in that locker room that are around each other every single day.
No, absolutely, and not just for their time in terms of on our show and things like that. They were just great players to watch. I mean, if it wasn't for Zach last year, the last month and a half would have been pretty brutal. He was him and Asadorian and Kevin were really the only reasons to kind of pay attention. It was just that he made it really exciting, and he was always so nice to us. You're not wrong there. And Bronson was just him and Sobolev were such a great just part of our decor, and Sobolev especially the physical brand of hockey that he played just played very loud. And, we're definitely going to miss both of them and really everyone. And like you said, in junior hockey, it's just a vicious cycle. Very, very short-lived. You don't get a lot of 4 and 5 years out of a player with one franchise. That's just the nature of the business, and I wish nothing but the best for them for the rest of their careers.
And I'm sure Adam Frolov really appreciated the time that he
Absolutely.
had with Daniil Sobolev. Speaks his language, Russian. And also, obviously, an overage defenseman that he kind of had to learn from and take him under his wing. We saw Sobolev paired with Frolov a lot this year, and I'm pretty sure that is attributed to why the 16-year-old rookie defenseman is playing so well for the IceDogs.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, without him, Frolov, wouldn't be nearly as far as he is now in his development. And no, absolutely, you're bang on with that.
So wish them all the best in their new surroundings. So with that said, we're going to take you to our post-game with IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau, as always brought to you by Wild Bill's Auto Repair, helping customers stay safe and confident on the road in Niagara since 2012 in honor of the late William Robert Hunter. Here is IceDogs head coach Ben Boudreau following the 4-1 victory against the Barrie Colts. Coach, you got to be happy with that effort. I mean, 7 out of the last 8 getting points, so a big win on home ice, and you cap it off with Gavin Bryant getting the empty netter, naming him captain. Just talk about the day as a whole.
Well, I mean, I'm going to start with that story because I think that's a pretty good one here. Gavin is a natural-born leader. I mean, he's got so much leadership skills in his body, and it's just from watching him be the person that he is. He doesn't have to try. It's natural. The way he treats everybody, the way he prepares himself, the way he plays the game, it's an honest day's work for him every single day, and he is the natural choice, and that's somebody that I personally believe in because I know everybody else does at the same time, too. So to watch him take a face-off with his sister dropping it there at the opening face-off, and then to cap off the game after being named captain with an empty net goal to seal that victory, which is a big victory for us. And the first 4-game point streak under new ownership, Darren Dodobler, can't be forgotten here. This is a big moment for the Ice Dogs, especially after trading away some of the older guys, getting it done, and then finding a way to get it done with the younger guys. I think that's a big game for us and a big message to the fans of this team here.
Special teams was a big one tonight. You know, you hold Barrie off the score sheet on the power play. That 5-on-3 kill was big. Just talk about the momentum that your penalty kill was able to give you, and then you even scored one on the power play as well.
Yeah, and we talk about that being a sore spot there, but I think what we have is guys that are willing to buy in and play the right way rather than get on their own page. And, when you have a team like that, you can accomplish anything. But the penalty kill was huge, and no bigger than Flores now, 3 goals against combined in the last 2 games. I mean, that's a heck of a job that he's doing. And he's finding his groove, and this is why he's gotten so many starts, so we can find that little groove and play the way he's playing right now, and he's giving us a chance to win every single game. So the puck stops right there with Flores, and he's been going great, and like you said, gave us momentum, and we found a way to get pucks through and to the net here, and that's what good things happen. Scored 3 goals from the hash marks in here to win us the game. So the special teams were big, and that was a big difference in the outcome tonight.
Ray was in tonight. What did you think of him? He's a big body up front, and gives you some versatility down low in the lineup. How did you think that he played in his first game?
Well, overall, I think our management group gave us a great job of a core to grow and work with, but still remain competitive right now. And Ray is going to be a guy that is one. I think he went perfect in the face-off circle, and we've been struggling with face-offs all year. So to add a piece, just to be able to bring an element like that, I think is great. His puck protection skills were great. Very coachable and likable kid, buys into the message. I thought he had a big impact tonight, and to see him smiling and be a part of a winning hockey team with a bigger role is something great for a 17-year-old. So with him coming in, it was great to be able to utilize him, especially in a winning way, but he's going to be a big part of our mix here growing forward, so it was great to blow the dust off the cover and see how he played, because he passed with flying colors.
And again, it's something you've been emphasizing in practice, trying to hammer it into these guys about just get pucks to the net, get guys in front with active sticks to be able to tip those in. You got 2 more tonight. Just talk about seeing the process start to come through and what you're hammering away at practice and finally starting to translate over to games.
Yeah, it's just what you believe in. I mean, you need money, you got to go to the bank. You want to get some bread, you go to the bakery. You want to score goals, where do you got to go? Got to go to the net. So, I mean, once we start buying in the message and once you start seeing success, it catches fire and it's infectious around the room. So the last game, it was Paris scoring on a second chance. It was Levin scoring on a second chance. It was Stewart tonight scoring on a second chance. Paris scoring on the shot tip. I mean, these are the areas that we have to go to win battles and score goals. And the best players find a way to play on the inside of the ice, and perimeter players find a way to fizzle out. So you got a big heart and willingness to compete. That's where you're going to score goals, and that's what we've been doing for the last few games.
Lastly, you were short a couple of bodies tonight, but you rallied around it. You had guys double shifting, Bryant on that 4th line, and I want to end off William Stewart getting his first career goal. He's been here a couple of years, and he's been grinding away, and he's been scratched a few games, but keeps his head high and keeps it positive. So just how happy were you for Stewart to finally get that first one?
It wasn't just me. Everybody is happy for Stu. We know the struggle. Even for me, during my pro career, I was always one of the extra guys, depth players. I was never a goal scorer, so I know what it felt like that few times where you do get the offensive side of it. But more so than anything, it was the timing of it. They score 1 goal. Next shift, we come back with them, and they tie it up. I mean, it was a huge momentum goal, and I thought he was great. He won the battles, went to the net, and just, is a guy that everybody loves and can rally around right now. And to see him get his first one, is really big for us, because I know it means a lot to the kid. And so it was a long time coming. Great to see him get rewarded, and we hope, like Zod or Gallianov, once they get one, the floodgates open for somebody like himself. So very proud of Willie Stewart to get that goal, and hopefully it's the first of many for him.
Thanks, Coach. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
There was Ice Dogs head coach Ben Boudreau on the Wild Bills auto repair postgame. Cam, thoughts there from the Ice Dogs head coach? A lot of good, honest thoughts about trade deadline, new guys coming in, and naming his captain Gavin Bryant.
I think that he's been awfully critical of Owen Flores over the last little while, and definitely giving him his props because he did a fantastic job tonight, and I echo everything that he said there. He kind of reiterated that not just himself, but the whole team was really happy for William Stewart, and again, I agree. I think that when he scored, immediately looked at the bench, and the whole bench had jumped up. So it's great for moments like that. And again, this team feels so much different than the prior 2 years. They definitely feel like that's probably a lack of, or due to the much far less moves being made, so you have time to grow as a core, and not to mention the majority of the players now are becoming Ice Dog draft picks. I think that a lot of time everyone was just being traded and they didn't have a time. When you get drafted by the team, you're always going to have a connection to them, and I think that only helps the foundation of the core, and it's going to be great to see them grow. But no, I think that he's done a great job since stepping in as head coach and continuing to play Flores. I'm assuming during this win streak that we'll see him again against Flint, but Charlie Robinson's not a bad goalie. He's been very, very good over the last 2 years, so I think that they brought him in for the ability to spell Flores with the game. I think that while they're in the midst of still being able to chase a playoff spot, maybe they weren't ready and confident to give Charlie Burns that ability to run. But I think that Robertson is definitely up to the task.
And they're seeing the fruits of their labor with this long-term plan and long-term outlook that head coach Ben Boudreau, you see it coming to fruition, and I think that's why it feels a lot different than maybe it has in the last previous couple of years that the Ice Dogs have struggled. But I'm glad you mentioned Charlie Robertson because he's been in a tough spot the last couple of years. Going in for Dom DiVincentis, who starts a lot of games for the North Bay Battalion. It's not easy for a goalie that hasn't played a lot to go in maybe once every couple of weeks, but Robertson has proven that, when he can come in and not really have, as many games as most starting goaltenders would like, he shows that he, in his limited ability, he can go in there and get it done.
Well, absolutely. I mean, he's got an above 890 save percentage, so over the course of his career, and that's extremely good for this league. We'll see if he can continue it for the Ice Dogs. I'll be curious to see when we get his first game. I would assume that the next 3 and 3 will not feature all 3 games for Owen Flores, but who knows? Maybe they just keep winning. I don't think Ben is going to change anything as long as they're winning.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be a big crowd there for Charlie Robertson. Has some Niagara ties here when he does get his first career start. So with that said, we're going to take you to our Ice Dogs feature player interview tonight with Ice Dogs captain Gavin Bryant, brought to you by the Niagara Denture Clinic, creating natural smiles in Niagara for 25 years. If you forgot to bring your mouthguard on the ice or lost a chiclet, contact your licensed team of denture professionals in Niagara Falls to get your smile back on track. Newly named captain Gavin Bryant after his cheeseburger goal. Here with new Ice Dogs captain Gavin Bryant. Gavin, first off, just, talk about being named captain, getting that honor. And, you wore an A this year. You wore an A with Owen Sound last year. So getting the C now, just how surreal was that and how much honor and pride do you take in that?
Yeah, you know what? I said on the ice at the start of the year, getting an A, my first year here was an honor. But getting the C now, it's just that kind of step up. I mean, I have nothing but respect for this organization. It's a very classy organization. I've said like 3 times today that they've treated me unbelievably this year, but it's a huge honor for sure. And
you move on from a couple of guys that are part of that leadership group. Obviously, Zach Lavoie moved to Brantford as the captain. So is there anything that you are going to take on extra, or are you just going to continue to be that same leader that you are all the time, no matter if you got an A, a C, you don't have a letter? Is that just the kind of guy that you are as far as a leader?
Yeah, you know what? When I first came into this league, I think the biggest thing for myself was just being myself, and it didn't change no one's sound, and it honestly didn't change coming here either. It was just one of those things at the start of the year. I just wanted to be myself in the room, and the guys, it's a great group of guys, and they're very welcoming, but no, that's about it. Just keep it.
What was the reaction today when you when you heard the news, and then what was the team's reaction to that when they found out that 19 was going to be getting the C?
Yeah, the guys were excited. I mean, again, it's a very, very supportive group in there, but no, it was pretty cool just hearing it from the coaching staff, hearing it from Benny. But again, it's a huge honor. There's a ton of leaders in that room, and it ranges from young to old, which is really exciting to see as well. But again, it's just an honor for sure.
Picked up points in 7 of the last 8, or 7 points out of the last 8 that's got to be encouraging for the group, especially after the trade deadline. You know, the playoffs are still in reach. A couple of the teams you're chasing really sold, so there's a real possibility for you guys to make it. What's the mindset in that room right now, especially with the way that you guys have been playing lately under head coach Ben Boudreau?
Yeah, you know what I learned in my rookie year, the biggest thing with an OHL season, you have 3 seasons with it. It's the first half before Christmas, second half after Christmas, which we're in right now. That's the big playoff push, and that's what we're kind of aiming for right now. I mean, our coaching staff, Benny, Brandon, and Damon put a good plan in each day, and you know what, playoffs is the big goal. So the guys are buying in the room, and it's pretty exciting. It'll be a pretty exciting end of the year.
Lastly, could you really expected this day to go any better? Name the C. You know, your sister's on the ice. Pre-game for the Diabetes Canada. It's a special night. You get the cheeseburger goal at the end as well to seal it. So just talk about could you have put a storybook ending any better to this game?
My billets will love the cheeseburger goal, my billet kid, brother and sister, but no, a special night for sure. I mean, having my parents here, having some more family here, and having my sister drop the puck, it's pretty special for me. She dropped it in my rookie year for the diabetes night that was in Owen Sound, and her doing it again tonight, especially with my buddy there being on the other end of it. It was a pretty special picture, I think, for sure. But again, good to get the win tonight for sure.
IceDogs new captain Gavin Bryant. Gavin, congratulations on the new honor, congratulations on the win, and continued success moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruno.
There was IceDogs newly named captain Gavin Bryant on the Niagara Dental Clinic IceDogs player interview. Cam, great stuff there from the newly named captain. Just a natural-born leader.
Tough to not like him. You know, I think that's like the biggest takeaway. Is a great kid, and he's done a fantastic job with this group, and really going to give some peace of mind that the rookies on our squad are going to be able to continue to grow, not just on the ice but off the ice as well.
Yeah, great stuff there from Gavin Bryant, and really humble as well. He doesn't like to talk about himself a lot, but said that the group was really happy for him, and talked about how tight-knit that group is, and they got some young leaders in there as well. It's not just all the older guys. Some of those younger guys are really stepping up as leaders, and that's good to hear.
Well, again, I think we talk about this all the time, but I think that having 4 players from our draft class come in together, they're going through the exact same thing. So it's easier to do things when there's more than one person going through that exact same situation. And I think from top to bottom, we've got a great collection of guys. And I think that's something he said that was interesting, that the OHL season is split up into 3 seasons. And he truly believes that with a couple more wins, they're right back into it. And I think the game against Flint is massive, because it's another game that you look on the schedule and say, all right, if you're going to make the playoffs, it's a must-win. And if they are able to take care of business tomorrow night, then that game against Mississauga becomes massive, because if they can take down the Steelheads, then they're real close. And I think that when this team, they've played a game that felt like a playoff game for the vast majority of this year, that I think that if they are able to be close enough, that they are more than prepared to really go on a nice run here to make it interesting. And, I think that personally as a fan, that's all I could ask for, is that be close. At the beginning of the season, all we asked for is be closer to the playoffs. Later on in the year. Last year we were pretty much out of it in November, and we're still talking about it in January. So,
yeah, playing meaningful games down the stretch here, and 4-point game against the Barrie Colts tonight was big. So before we get out of here, we're going to put Cam on the spot as always with our player of the game, brought to you by the Niagara Golf Lounge. Niagara's home for golf and sport year-round, located in the best Western Cairncroft Hotel in Niagara Falls. Visit NiagaraGolfVacations.com to learn more, to host an event, or to book your golf day today. Cam, who do you got?
Tonight we'll go with Gavin Bryant. I think that even defensively as well, up on that line. Again, playing wing, but just had a great game on the forecheck, was really good defensively. And in that third period where you can tell that the team is now, I think the biggest issue, especially in that game against Owen Sound, where they blew that 2-goal lead in the third, and it looked like they were just kind of turtling a little bit in the third, just trying to hang on. There was glimpses of that in this game as well with the 2-goal lead late, but I think that they're becoming more comfortable playing with the lead in the third, and I think that's something they haven't done a lot of. And Gavin was a big part of it, that it wasn't just dump it out of the zone, survive the shift in this one. In the third period, he really made sure to dump it in deep, get it in that forecheck, and kind of start to chip things away as the time ticked down. So a great job by him, and again, just capped off a fantastic evening for him.
And he was playing top line left wing and fourth line center, so he was all over the place.
All over the place.
So, honorable mention quickly, Connor Federico, 2 assists, was a +3 tonight, and was just out there banging like he usually does.
Absolutely. Again, good to see him get rewarded on the score sheet. because normally it's just for some board rattling hits. But I think that that mantra of just getting the puck towards the net and having the forwards tip things home, it's definitely reigning true because we had a few of them tonight.
Cam, thanks for doing this. We'll talk again, I guess, after the Mississauga game next Thursday, so we'll look forward to that, and hopefully the next time we record, that's 4 more big points for the Ice Dogs and trying to claw back into this thing.
Absolutely, can't wait.
That's going to wrap up today's Niagara IceDogs game recap on the Dog Pound Podcast, the official podcast of your Niagara IceDogs, proudly brought to you by Global Pet Foods, where pets are undeniably part of the family. Visit any 4 of their great Niagara Region locations. Thank you to those today listening in on-demand audio, and go give us some love on whatever audio platform that is. Go follow us on our YouTube page, Armchair GM Sports Network, and as well you can give us a follow on X at Dog Pound Podcast. For Cam Halbert, my name is Brandon Caputo. The Ice Dogs take it 4-1 over Central Division rival Barrie Colts on this Thursday night. And we'll talk to you again following the next game at home against the Mississauga Steelheads next Thursday. We'll talk to you again very soon.